Ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be back with you today, and I have the special privilege of having Major General Paul Vallely on the broadcast with us today. This is a man that served as a Major General in the United States Army for many, many years, but was also involved in special operations, and he's here to talk to us today about the targeted assassination of General Qassam Soleimani. Major General Paul Vallely, thank you for coming on the broadcast today.
Thank you, Denice. Happy to be back with you again.
Thank you. So, sir, I've had the media on. I've been reading reports. I was really pleased that the President of the United States made it clear to the Iranian people that the United States government is not interested in war, but we are absolutely interested in counter-terrorism measures. Why are the Democrats taking this attack? Now, and I bring the audience back to former President Barack Hussein Obama, who took out Osama bin Laden and who took out the dictator of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi. I mean, here our president has gone to great lengths to take out Islamic terrorists like Hamza bin Laden, Osama bin Laden's son, this last summer. He took President Trump, had the, I think, courage to take out Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the leader of the Islamic State, or ISIS or ISIL. He took out the Islamic State's number 2 man, and now he has taken out a man who's been involved in killing Americans, maiming Americans, for years and years. We just saw an attack on the U.S. Embassy in Iraq. We've seen situations, and in fact, a couple weeks ago, I believe we saw an American killed, 4 servicemen injured. We've had tankers taken out. We've had allies attacked. As Iran continues to call for the destruction of the United States of America and Israel. Sir, what are your thoughts today about the President of the United States following through on a counterterrorism measure?
Well, he was absolutely right. I'm very familiar with Qassam Soleimani. When I was in Syria and Turkey 2012, 2013, and as Assad said in Syria one time, I'm really happy when Soleimani's in town, I can really sleep. But Soleimani was the most powerful man outside of Khomeini in Iran, the top general of the Revolutionary Guard, Islamic Guard, the Quds Force, spreading terror throughout the Middle East, Yemen, all the way down to Venezuela, North Africa. I mean, Yemen, I mean, you just name it. And all the way back to Black September in Hezbollah, when they killed 241 of our Marines in Beirut.
1983. Well, I believe that was 1982. 83, right. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. And so you track all of that back, and then the amount of arms that Soleimani was responsible for inputting into the Afghan theater, arming the Taliban with IEDs and so on and so forth. So here is a man that has spread terror throughout the Middle East and the rest of the world, has continued to threaten the United States. And so he is a master terrorist. And so the military operation, which I can describe in fairly detail if you'd like me to later, of how that went down. But this was a target. He was a threat to the United States and the United States' interest. He propagated and planned all these attacks in the last week against the embassy with the Iranian militias that he's supporting in Baghdad and in Iraq. So we could go from there.
Well, I want to share real quick with my audience, too. I had a student that was in my class, and he was from Pakistan, and he talked about how Osama bin Laden attended the mosque weekly that he and his family attended. That people in Pakistan knew exactly where Osama bin Laden was located, and yet former President Barack Obama really didn't go after and take out Osama bin Laden for months and months and, well, for years, not until nearly the end of his administration. And I look at President Trump and the fact that the Democrats have said today that the president did not get authorization from Congress to take out this leader of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, really the terrorist arm of the Iranian government. And before we get into the military operation, which I do want to hear about, can you explain to the audience why the President of the United States doesn't need Congress's permission to follow through on a counter-terrorism operation?
He's not required. He's covered by laws, the Commander-in-Chief, to react to any near threat to the United States and to respond to that directly. And so he does not need any kind of approval from Congress to do these kinds of operations on a near-term basis. It's war, and we've not declared war against Iran, but we've been in battle with them since 1979. We never declared war against international terrorism, which we should have,
yes,
and against specific countries at that time, which were promoting and supporting international terrorism. So the president was right. I do not trust Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff, the head of the Intelligence Committee, with any kind of intelligence on a near-term basis, because they would leak it to the press and they would take advantage of it, and that they would counter anything the president would do.
I agree.
So President is absolutely right. It was a near-term threat. Soleimani, from what I understand, was planning further attacks against American installations,
right,
American troops in Iraq,
right,
with the militia-supported groups that he had there. And, of course, we saw what he did against the embassy in the last week.
Right. And that's my understanding. It was my understanding that a drone, I don't know if it was an Israeli drone or a U.S. drone, but one of my contacts indicated that there was literally a drone overhead that was tasked with, that responsibility. That drone was set up and operationalized for the purpose of following the communications of General Soleimani, and that there was indeed a threat that was expected against U.S. forces there inside Iraq. So it sounds like you've heard basically the same thing. Were you familiar with the drone following communications there?
Well, the drones that we have based in Iraq are out of Balat Air Force Base, just north of Baghdad. That's where we have our aircraft as well. We have a command and control intelligence center there.
Okay.
We have helicopters there with a rocket capability as well. So drones or helicopters could be used to target a convoy. And as I understand it, Soleimani had flown in from Syria into Baghdad International, landed, got in his convoy, and as they were approaching the exit of Baghdad Airport, the drone, as best I know now, with its Hellfire missiles, took out the convoy, and he was killed on the spot.
So, and the airport, the Baghdad airport, what is that in terms of minutes from the United States Embassy? Isn't that just minutes? Like just
no, it's probably 30 to 40 minutes. I've taken that route, yes.
Okay.
It's, and through different barriers and different checkpoints in that. So our intelligence tracked him, found him. The president gave the order to terminate him before he could cause any more damage or any future planning that we knew he was planning.
Right.
With inside Iraq against U.S. forces, U.S. installations, and the embassy. So
and that Hellfire missile then was used.
That's what I understand.
Okay. Tell us about the military operation that Iran's got going on there in Iraq. I understand it's got some serious heavy military equipment there in order to use against American forces and allied coalition forces there. Is that correct, sir?
Well, they've moved equipment in, even convoys they brought over from Iran into Iraq. They've been doing that over the last decade to some degree. They've transited northern Iraq over into Syria and over into Lebanon. And Soleimani was working out of Mosul and the northern area, southern Kurdistan, below southern Kurdistan there. And so he's worked that area as well as his office in Damascus supporting Assad. And so he was planning all the transient convoys and that carrying arms and equipment through Syria to Hezbollah in Lebanon. So he was very active in that regard. And then, of course, he's co-opted the Iraqi government to a great degree.
Mm-hmm.
That they're dependent on Iran now for many things,
mm-hmm.
and they completely, for the most part, some of the hierarchy, Iraqi government has turned against the U.S. government for all that we've done for them,
right,
and have sided with Iran. So
mm-hmm.
Our best position right now is get out of there, get out of the Middle East,
mm-hmm.
use the lily pad strategy to
mm-hmm.
attack any targets that are a threat to the United States,
mm-hmm.
and don't keep our people in harm's way any longer.
Excellent points, all. I'm thinking about what you just said about controlling the government in Iraq to a large degree. Iran is in effect calling shots in Syria and in Lebanon and among the Palestinian Islamic jihadist organizations there in the Gaza Strip and in areas in Judea, Samaria, the West Bank, and Yemen.
Yes.
So the fact that Iran has got that level of power and influence with the death of General Soleimani, what do you believe is next in terms of Iranian reaction to that attack and its power base in the Middle East?
Well, I would think now at their command and control headquarters in Tehran that they're going to announce a new general ahead of the IRGC and the Quds Force. So they'll bring him on here probably shortly. It'll be announced. They're probably looking now at different options, attack options against U.S. Facilities and installations,
mm-hmm.
and that probably is going to occur. But we'll be on high alert there. We have the 82nd that's gone into Kuwait, plus we're going to put in another several thousand troops that will be based out of Kuwait.
Okay.
There's a large facility down there, installation,
okay.
That was built several years ago by
mm-hmm.
the Kuwaitis, some $60 million installation.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, and also from Kurdistan, and then the troops that we have in northern Iraq, as well as the Balad Air Base there, we have a tremendous capability.
And what do you think the Israelis, Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel came out in a statement this morning, I believe it was this morning early, and said that he appreciated the fact, stood with the President of the United States, that the President was in fact pursuing peace and security and stability by making this decision to take out Soleimani. The Israelis, I imagine, will continue to work covertly with the United States in the region?
Yes, we have a joint planning organization, I'll say, inside Israel. Mm-hmm. Israel's had the plans on a three-phase basis to take down Iran. Okay. If that situation should occur where they need to do that.
Okay.
So Israel has Mossad agents inside Iran.
Mm-hmm.
They're keeping track basically of a lot of the intelligence going on and sharing that with the United States on a daily basis. So
excellent.
They're watching everything and assistance with us, and
mm-hmm.
if there's any future targets to be taken down, Israeli IDF forces will,
mm-hmm.
in fact, participate with the United States.
Excellent, sir. Thank you so much for your time and helping us understand better what's going on the ground there in the Middle East. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Denice. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening. I thought that was excellent. I really appreciate Major General Paul Vallely coming on the broadcast. Let's talk about Frugatti's restaurant. Frugatti's is always voted best in Italian restaurants here in Kern County in the Central Valley. They're located on Coffee Road. The owner is Ralph Frugaletti. He's an Olympic winner, and I'll tell you, he makes the best Italian food ever. Try Frugatti's restaurant. Tell the owner, Ralph Frugaletti, that you heard all about his wonderful restaurant with that fabulous Italian food right here on the Denice Gary Show. And let's go to Anna Tay's President Trump has correctly stated that economic security is national security, and in the Tehachapi Mountains of Kern County resides a United States defense contractor, Denice Products. Here is the Silicon Valley of the aerospace industry, right here in East Kern. Denice Products is a forward-leaning manufacturer and distributor of hardware sold to major defense and aerospace companies. We're talking about Boeing, Lockheed Martin, United Technologies, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon General Electric, and on the list goes, as well as to every United States ally worldwide, including Israel, America's most important strategic ally in the Middle East. And for everything that flies, Denice Products is providing the parts. And with me today is the president of Denice Products, Scott Baker. Hi, Scott.
How you doing?
Scott, tell us why you believe this corner of Kern County is the hub of the aerospace industry.
Well, this portion of Southern California here out in the Antelope Valley, it contains, some of the most cutting-edge technology going on in aviation today. We have some of the UCAS programs with unmanned technologies going on. We have Edwards Air Force Base out here who's doing continual testing in their area. We have the Naval Weapons Station up there at China Lake doing some fantastic cutting-edge stuff, cruise missile technology, and those things are going on. We have Scale Composites locally doing a lot of composite technology, which is new. We have SpaceX, which is a private one, a private entity putting things into space now. This area is the growth center for aviation's future, and this is the area I think that as a nation we need to be concentrating some of our effort and taking this technology. And as we all know, with the space program from Apollo years ago, out of these technologies, we the private sector are going to reap some of the benefits of that.
Thank you, Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Baker, president of Denice Products. Denice Products, located in the beautiful mountains of Tehachapi, California, in eastern Kern County, is home to some of the most innovative and specialized technologies in the world, including those at the U.S. Naval Air Warfare Center, Weapons Division at China Lake, Edwards Air Force Base, as well as Stratolaunch, launching satellites capable of delivering multiple orbits in a single flight to space. And it is Denice Products that has provided the manufactured devices, and the president, Scott Baker of Denice Products, Marine Corps veteran, reactivated on 9/11 to monitor threats to the homeland, is carrying on a tradition of providing for the security of the United States by manufacturing every kind of fastener on anything that flies, as well as providing a full testing destructive laboratory. Contact Denice Products, now in business for 30 years, at 661-822-6873. Located at 1314 Goodrich Drive in Tehachapi, for your manufacturing and testing needs today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Denice Gary Show. Please make that contribution and support the Denice Gary Show. It's tax deductible. You can make that tax deductible gift and give us the support we need by writing your check or money order out to the Middle East Initiative. Send it to P.O. Box 82162, Bakersfield, California, 93380. And thank you for listening. Please share this show out. Let's spread the good word. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you tomorrow. Well, we'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Thank you for listening.